Ah, there and back again. This sounds really familiar. Let's see what this is going to be about. Wait a minute, this isn't the damn Hobbit. What's up, everyone? It's your boy Scott. Welcome to the Scott Report. Today we're here to talk about Goblin Slayer episode 9, straight up naming itself after the wondrous adventures of Bilbo Baggins, aka the Hobbit. This episode was called There and Back Again. But this wasn't about hobbits and adventures. This is about Goblin Slayer. This is about killing goblins strictly 100%. We already know what it is with this series, but it's kind of interesting because the arc that we're into now and last week, manga readers are saying that it got shifted around so we can end the season off on a little bit more of an action-packed type of thing instead of how we would have ended last time, you know, with Goblin Slayer dying, then going to the Sword Priestess, and then getting resurrected in a very interesting way. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes out. But the lesson of today is never trust big boobs and a smile. And Goblin Slayer wasn't going for it because, thankfully, I'm weak to that, but Goblin Slayer isn't. I would not have expected that the woman that was behind this plan the entire time was the Sword Maiden. So let's talk about her for a little bit, because the Sword Maiden set up this entire ordeal that was going on with the goblins. So Goblin Slayer, getting his detective on, getting his CSI on, started to put things together and see that things wasn't right. I mean, if you go back and look at some of the things that he was investigating, such as like where these goblins are coming from, you know, why there were no rats, no giant rat quests, you know, how these goblins got in the sewers all to begin with. It was very unexpected and a little bit disappointing that it was Sword Maiden who was behind all of this all along. Even the attack on the city, you know, where they were saying goblins were killing people in almost broad daylight, leaving them mutilated and bruised and battered and cut up and all that good stuff in the city. That's not the way goblins do things. The Goblin Slayer picked on that immediately. But the reason why she did this, I mean, you can kind of understand why she did it. Or if you want to look into the psyche of a character and see that Sword Maiden is broken in a way that you wouldn't think. Of course, she did take down the Demon King or the Demon Lord, but she's broken mentally as well, because these goblins got her in such a state of mind of what they did to her in such a young age. She said it was 10 years ago. She was like 17. We know what these goblins do. They know how they get down, to the point that she was scared of goblins for life, to the point that she was worried about her reputation. She was worried about her name as this big famed warrior adventurer who took down the Demon King before, but she's afraid to ask for help to take out goblins because everybody sees goblins as fodder. I mean, we know the deal going through the series and following Goblin Slayer, but a lot of people take these things lightly. But this has rocked one of the universe's biggest warriors to the core, to the point where she is afraid to even go to them. So that's why she sought out Goblin Slayer. That's why she looked out for him specifically, because she knows what he does. She knows what he likes to do 100%. And she went so far into this and so intricate into this plan to get Goblin Slayer there. I mean, even the mirror that we saw with the big eyeball monster that was very reminiscent of Castlevania, that was there protecting the portal mirror that was transporting the goblins. That's how the goblins got there. She was transporting the goblins in hopes that Goblin Slayer would see that portal and go in there and be like, all right, that's some more goblins. Let me go in there and kill them. She was banking on this guy trying his best to eradicate them all. And Goblin Slayer, you know, she was like, you can have the mirror afterwards. And he was like, no, because, well, one, we do need to find out if there's more of these things, because, you know, these goblins be getting ported somewhere. But he was like, no, I don't want the mirror. I destroyed it because I can kill all the goblins that are under her sun, and that's what I plan to do. That's not going to help you in your situation. You need to get over your fear yourself. It was a little sweet moment, because she was like, well, if I ever need goblins killed again, can I call upon you? And he was like, yeah, you can holler at me. You know, that's no problem. Even in my dreams, yeah, in your dreams too. I got you, baby. Goblin Slayer's in his own way, he's kind of charming, but if it ain't about goblins, he ain't trying to hear what you guys say. And it's like, I don't like that it was Sword Maiden. I wanted her to be a little bit more badass in her stance, and I thought it was going to be this big plot, which it is, because, you know, the Demon Lord probably knows that this is her weakness too. This is what she was scared of, which is why he was pushing his plot forward because she hinted that, you know, he might know my weakness, but at the same time, for her to go through all of this to get Goblin Slayer just to take out these goblins because she couldn't do it on her own, I'm a little bit on the fence about it. So it was a ruse, but not really a ruse, because she straight up petrified of goblins and she asked Goblin Slayer to go down there. But what are the risks? Look at what Goblin Slayer and his crew went through. I mean, he almost died if it wasn't that resurrection spell. So that was a big gamble, and overall it was a little bit too dramatic, but at the same time I'm able to see what they were doing. They were trying to just show how broken a goblin and their attacks and what they can do in this universe can make people, and that's been the biggest thing of this series, is to make you hate these goblins, and they're still doing that 100%. But what I did like about this was, I did like the last battle. I liked the last battle and how things went down, you know, with Goblin Slayer and the crew in the tunnels, you know, trying to take out the goblins, coming up with a plan because they're just getting better and better and better as working as a team. And we also got to see the Hobgoblin want a little bit of a run back from Goblin Slayer for what he did to his eye when he came back in that berserk mode. But, you know, to see everybody get together, to see Archer go in using those arrows, using the arrows from the goblins, to see, you know, the lizard man using the lizard familiar, or, you know, the stone warrior, or the bone warrior, I'm sorry, to actually use him to protect people. Everybody holding out their spells until the very end, because Goblin Slayer is like, we gotta hold out as long as we can, and then we need to save our best for last. I like that strategy. I like that little bit of hopelessness. Well, not necessarily hopelessness, but more saving what they need to do for later. It reminded me of just sitting there playing an RPG, like when you're at a save point and then you've gone for so long that you don't know how long it's gonna be before you get to another save point, then here come a boss, so you gotta start fueling your resources. Things like that is what Goblin Slayer does well. It puts you in the world, even though it's not necessarily an isekai, it puts you in a world of kind of a game almost, and we know underneath it all is a game because these guys are rolling the dice. That's something they make sure they want to highlight as well, and I cannot wait to get to the big picture of that. But the battle was great. Goblin Slayer is growing as a character as well, because, you know, everybody's telling him, you know, no poison, no gas, no burning. Have a little bit more of a humane way of you're taking care of these goblins. And even when he used the flower explosion in the last episode, he was like, hey, we did it. I didn't use the methods that you said, and at the same time, everybody's safe. So he is beginning to open up a little bit more to these characters. He's becoming more, as we learned about his background and how he came up with the old man, you know, telling them to get stronger. He's beginning to love these guys as friends, possibly as family. So that's a good thing to see as well, to show there's more to this series than just gore and, you know, hate that everybody has for it. And to end it all, everybody's going back and they're gonna get some ice cream. And you know how the lizard man loves his dairy. He goes in whenever he hears a dairy products, as we're gonna head into this final arc with 3 episodes left. So that's going to be interesting. It is a part of the manga that I'm wondering if we're going to get to see. Of course, I don't follow manga completely, but I know it's coming up, and it might shift how people feel about this series again if they don't just flat out hate it already. But hey, we already know this is a dark world. This is dark fantasy. In episode 9, in a nutshell, getting into the psyche of sword maiden, showing that how the most badass hero of this universe is broken in her own way, and it's all thanks to goblins. But thankfully, we got the Goblin Slayer on point. I liked the episode. I really did. And again, the Hobbit homages and the Lord of the Ring homages is right there, straight up calling this episode there and back again. That was great. So guys, let me know what you thought of this episode in the comments below. How do you feel about Sword Maiden? I mean, I'm a little bit let down by her. I wanted to see her do some action. I wanted to see her go in, like maybe, you know, she would have went in and decided to help these guys. But to see that she was so scared that she won't even leave of these goblins. She's completely broken, and she's didn't even want to risk her reputation. She didn't even want to ask people to help her kill some goblins after what happened to her and her reputation. So that shows these things need to be stopped. But again, guys, go ahead and let me know what you thought of this episode in the comments below. If you liked the video, go ahead and drop it a like. And if you want to hear more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. There's not short of content for you to indulge on this channel. As I always say, you guys can be anywhere on YouTube right now. Just chose to listen to me. I really appreciate that. So thanks for stopping by. Be sure to hit that bell so whenever I go live with a stream or drop a video, you will get notified and won't miss out. And also use the subscription tab if you want to keep up with that all together, because we know how YouTube is. And also be on the lookout in a few days, starting December 14th for the 12 days of anime. Although I may not be participating in all 12 days, I'm going to try to get about 3 or 4 videos out for that. And be sure to check out everybody that's participating in that as well. On that note, it's your boy Scott signing out. See you soon.